Hey, what's going on, guys? So I wanted to make a little Q&A video. Hey BMO, ow. I asked, I think last week, if you guys could submit some questions for me, and yeah, so I'm gonna answer a bunch of those questions. First of all, I hope you guys are having a good week so far and a good day. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoy. So the first question that I found going through the social media and just kind of picking a few random ones is, what makes me happy? I think what makes me happy is creating. Like, more than anything, I like to create something, and as hard of a process as that might be, you know, sometimes it's like the most rewarding thing in the world. So I think there's, you know, I find my peace in creating, you know, writing music and you know, designing an album cover, or, you know, filming a music video or editing a video. You know, that's where I find my happiness. And I feel like happiness is something you can't really find in physical, you know, material things. It's not like if you have more of something you're going to be happier. I don't think that's true, and I think you have to kind of learn that for yourself, that it's a state. You know, it's you have to be happy. You just have to be in a spot where you can, you know, go throughout your day, whatever happens, and you're just enjoying being alive, because I feel like that's kind of what it is. It's like you're enjoying, you know, existing. You're not worried about it, and you're just able to be free and create and just like do your thing. So that's, I guess, kind of what makes me happy is creating, especially music. So next question is, what did I write Blessed Are Those about? Well, I mean, the song itself, Blessed Are Those, you know, when I started writing that song, I basically had this, you know, I had this idea for this like melody that I played on my piano, and I just kept playing it over and over and looped it, and I just was, you know, hearing, you know, these sounds. Like I was just thinking about essentially, I think I pictured the world like literally like from space, like on fire. I know it sounds really dark, or it was like almost like the world was like an ember that was like fading, you know. And I just kind of started thinking about how, like, we have to, you know, we hold on to something, we develop all these beliefs about ourselves, about the world, and we, you know, we have to kind of deal with the fact that we don't know what's going on. We have to deal with the fact that we're so small that we just like make ourselves feel so big and so important. And I was just kind of thinking about how that is, you know, as much as we need that, we need to believe in things, and we have to create, you know, metaphors for existence and for you know, the universe and God and what, and we have to kind of latch on to ideas in order to keep us sane. It's also it's a downfall, you know. It's what's caused us to destroy the world. It's what's caused us to, you know, be so separated. I know human nature is, you know, maybe sometimes a little bit aggressive, you know, when you really get down to it, but at the same time, it's just like, I think we're conscious enough now to not have to act that way. And some people would argue that, whatever. But my point is that, you know, that song is kind of just about like the road we chose to go down. And the whole album is a little bit about that, but it's really speaking from experience, like what the choices I made with my life and where I am now, and how they kind of got me here and like got me into my dark places, and how success sometimes, or like money it doesn't bring you joy, it doesn't bring you more, and it can actually be detrimental to, you know, to have more things, you know. And that's, you know, the man with the lantern, that's, you know, essentially like a representation for greed, this appealing thing that like leads you somewhere, and you just kind of follow it blindly, and you get into the mountain, and that's where the light dies, you know. That's where the treasure is, but it's so dark in there, you know. All you have is this treasure. And essentially, blessed are those who know that God is never coming back. The chorus, if you can be awake and aware enough to realize you need to be aware and conscious of your own stuff instead of just focusing on external things all the time, you know, blessed are those who know that, you know. It's a good thing to know that. That's kind of what it comes down to, I think. And it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain my song sometimes, but that was kind of what I was feeling. So my next question is, any advice to stay motivated? And I would say you have to pick, you know, you have to have goals. I think that's the most important thing if you want to stay motivated and have something to focus on every day, because I feel like it's so much easier to just sit in the same spot and be depressed and worry about your life and think about where you could be or what you want. But it's like, are you really going to take the, you know, the initiative to work toward it? Because that's the difference, you know. You have to, if you know what you want and you truly want it, you're gonna do everything you can to get it, you know. And I think it's about that. It's about like, how bad do you want to reach your goal? How bad do you want to accomplish that thing or be in that different situation? Because it's completely up to you. However hard you work toward it is, you know, how quickly you're gonna get there and how you're gonna feel. So it's like, you just really have to decide that, you know, even if it's a tough road for a while, or if it, you know, you have to, you know, wake up earlier or stay up later, or, you know, work harder, like, it's going to be worth it. You have to think about how it's going to feel when you've accomplished the goal, you know. So my next question, what's the happiest memory of my childhood? And I think I mean, there's a lot of like good moments, you know. But one that comes to mind is it was a really interesting night when I was in like grade 5 or 6. I was super young. I went to my friend's birthday party, and he literally had rented like a limo, and I was like a little kid, so that was really cool to me. And we were driving around this limo, went to McDonald's and shit, and I burnt my finger on one of the lights, so that wasn't nice. But I remember just being in that limo and just being like, yeah, man, like I made it, I'm balling right now. And then anyway, so it was like snowing, it was around Christmas time, and we went to McDonald's, and then we were going to see a movie, like everyone was going to go see the movie The Santa Claus, if you guys know that movie. And it was nighttime, it was so cozy, I remember. And my parents were like, no, I'm sorry, we have to pick you up. And I was like so upset. I was so upset because I wanted to see this movie and like hang out with everyone. And then we just started driving, and they picked me up, and we drove to like Florida or something. They just like surprised me, and like we went to Florida. I think it was either Florida or Niagara Falls, somewhere awesome. And I was like, oh man, this is amazing. So it was just like that feeling of like every time they would come to pick me up, I would like think, okay, maybe are we like going somewhere cool? But we only went a few times. But anyway, so that was a fun one. Next question: what inspires me to write songs? Just life, just having too many thoughts. I overthink a lot, and I have to get them out. It's like literally like because of my, I don't know, like hyper awareness of everything that goes on, I feel, in my life. Like I can't like walk into a building without like looking at like a tiny corner, like a chair that's in the corner that no one's looking at, and just like focus on it and be like, man, I'm the only one who's like focusing on this chair right now. Like, this is so cool. Like, what about this little chair? Like, how many places are there in the world that no one's focusing on? Like, just things like that like are kind of like questions I have. Like, okay, everyone's so focused on these things. Like, what is really going on? Because I feel like we focus on things that we're kind of taught to focus on, and we're so caught up in our heads that we actually forget what's around us. And I think there's so much beauty in that. And I don't know, I think too, like to cope with my own fear, to cope with my own, you know, loneliness, I guess, you know, is why I started. And I just think it's important to ask questions, and that's kind of what's always gotten me through, is asking questions. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's there's a lot of things that inspire me to write, but I think the main thing is just like questions, you know, and just to like get out the negative feelings, because I feel like it's important to do that, you know. So that's it's just it's always been my escape, and I think that everyone should have something like that. Next question: have I ever felt like leaving everything behind? Yes, I mean, that was kind of my goal, you know, when I started. I like when I got out of high school, I dropped out, and you know, I decided like I'm not gonna go to college or anything. I'm just gonna like go for music, and like that to me was a decision to leave everything behind. I quit my job at the grocery store, and I just like was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it or where I'm gonna, you know, how I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna get there, and I knew that, and that's all I knew, you know. And I don't know, I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made. But at the same time, it's like, you know, having that, like, not having structure is what gives you experience, is what gives you, you know, adventure, is what teaches you things, because you have to find that feeling of like safety, or you have to find that, like, you have to find that inside yourself, you know. You have to be able to be in any different situation. And I spent a lot of time traveling, like a lot of time, like, and sometimes I would just take the bus up to like the city, like Toronto, and just walk around, like literally just walk around by myself, and like just I liked that feeling. I liked that feeling of like uncertainty. Like I liked that, you know, and I grew to be kind of addicted to that, which taught me so much, which prepared me for touring and everything. So, but I think whenever I go on tour, I do kind of leave everything behind, you know, for a little while. And I'm very thankful to have a home, you know, an awesome little house to live in, and you know, to come back to. But it's like it's always, I love adventure. I need it. I really need it. Next question: what is my favorite movie? Is absolutely Lord of the Rings. Trilogy. I can't really pick one because they're all incredible, but anything to do with Middle Earth, I am in love with. So, what was my favorite season and why? Well, I would have to say autumn is my favorite season, and it's just always been the one that I resonate most with. I think it's a lot to do with the colors of the leaves and just the general vibe in the air, you know, because there is a certain feeling, and I think it's just like such a lovely, like, romantic kind of, there's so much like romantic imagery, I feel, I've always felt anyway, with autumn. And it's kind of just like this, like, it's starting to get chilly, and like go for like a nice walk, and like bundle up and like get a coffee, you know, like it's a cool like transitional period. And I feel like we are very like synced up to the actual seasons. I feel like our lives are kind of, they flow the same, you know, like during the seasons we experience certain things or feel a certain way. I mean, depending where you are, but autumn to me has just always been a time for me to like think back and like kind of reminisce on the year. And I just feel really, really inspired during autumn. So Where are we all going? Is there a purpose, or is this just a choiceless ride? Well, that's actually a good question. I think it can be. I think if you don't accept the fact that you actually do have control of your life and you can do, whatever you want to do. If you really truly believe your whole life that you're just, you're everyone else determines where you end up, then that's what's going to happen. And I really think it comes down to what you believe. So if you believe there's no purpose and you don't have one, you're probably going to feel that way your whole life. But if you can decide that you do have one and realize that you actually have the power to create anything, and you have the power to leave something behind for other people, for other human beings, then that's what you're gonna do. And at the end of the day, I think it is about like trying to make the lives of other people better. Like, you have to focus on yourself before I think you can maybe do that. But I think like creating something like for me, it's like music. It's like I create it because I need to, because I love it. But it's like I also know that people listen to it when they need it, and like I'm able to give that to them, and that's my contribution. And it's like I'm gonna do that to my fullest ability till the day that I die. Like, that's because that's what fulfills me, and I think that's my way of being able to help people. So I think you need to find your own way to do that. And it's like comes down to like little things, just the way you treat people, even like the way you act. Like, people will remember you, because it's not everyone's not used to that anymore. So I think you definitely decide your own purpose and where your journey takes you. And you decide where you want to end up in the journey. I think the universe will kind of guide you on its own, and you have to just flow with it. So I don't think believing that there's no point is a good way to live, because like what is the point of that? It's just going to be depressing. So next question: how is Fetch Williams? Well, last I checked in, he was actually in Vegas, so I'm not sure. I think I couldn't get a hold of him after a week or so, but he's been just hitting the road, partying, and doing some business meetings up there. And so I'm sure he did tell me though he's been writing season 2. And then he's going to be coming back to the captain's chair at some point in 2017. So that's exciting. I think Deb's actually been doing well. She's been working for the homeless shelter. And she actually moved out to Halifax. And she's still going to be working remotely for Fetch. But she's been working and feeding homeless, making various soups. So she's been doing good too. So Fetch Williams, the captain's chair, as far as I have heard, is going to be back for a renewing a season. So what is the greatest advice I can give for someone following their dreams? Well, I think just remember this: everything that you see every day, a car, a house, a building, a sandwich, they all started as an idea. They all started as a dream, essentially. They all started as a thought, literally everything. And they were brought into reality by human beings, and I think you just have to realize that you have the same power. You have the exact same power, and we are kind of taught to believe that we're not capable of that, but we are. And it's like as simple as, like, if I want to go get a glass of water right now, I can go do that. I can go from having no water in my hand to a glass of water in my hand, like that. It's the same idea. It's like, yes, some things may be a little more complicated than a glass of water, but if you have the intention and you are willing to just do what it takes, you will end up where you want. And it's like, if you don't, you'll find something better. And I really believe that. So I think you just have to realize that anything anyone tells you about not being able to do anything is complete bullshit. To a point. I'm not saying that you should go and try to take over a city or anything, but I'm just saying, like, if it comes down to, like, I want to do this with my life, just do it. No one can tell you that you can't do something. The reason that people will is because they can't, because they believe that, which is why they're stuck in a shitty job or a shitty position. It's like any successful person will tell you that it's possible. No successful person who truly, like, loves their life is going to tell you to stay in 9 to 5 and, like, work in a cubicle your whole life. People want to share that, like, feeling, but it's like people who don't ever reach that, they don't know how to share that because they've never experienced it, so they tell you that you can't, because they believe that their existence is all there is and all there should be, and that's bullshit. I'm sorry, but it's just like, it's not the way it is. You are entitled to your own existence. You're entitled to do whatever you want with your life, and you just need to believe that you can. I really think it comes down to, like, you're going to stop yourself. If you don't believe you can do something, then you're not going to be able to do it, and you have to get over that mental barrier and realize the only reason you don't believe in yourself is because of other people. Because you've compared yourself to other people, or other people have told you things. So just be aware of all those thought processes. So one more question: what plans do I have for new music? So I did just put out an album last November called Blessed Are Those, and so that's out on iTunes, Spotify, blah blah blah, everywhere. and I have a music video I didn't know coming out in February, and then I'll probably be doing some more music videos for this album and touring for this album. But I'm also writing my next one already, because I mean, by the time I release an album, I pretty much have started writing my next one. So I'm writing that, and I'm hoping to put that out, you know, hopefully by the end of the year, who knows. But anyway, so I'm already working on new stuff. I love it. I can't wait to put it together. It's going to be the best Say We Can Fly album. I mean, I say that every time because I always hope to outdo myself as an artist. That's kind of my goal. It's like I have to keep setting the bar higher for myself. But I think it's going to be a really, really cool direction. And I'm always excited to release music to you guys. So I'm working on new music always, and I'm writing, and I'll keep you updated, of course. So thank you so much for watching this Q&A video. Yeah, I love you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, cool. Have a good night, stay cozy, and I'll talk to you soon.